Something just happened. Something just happened. It's 11:18 on my clock. Somebody put in 17:17. I'm going to give y'all a minute. This is part 2. I was just on a live. There you are. Something just happened. Something just happened. Something just happened. I'm going to set a tone. On. You might get dizzy. You'd also call me the lead Underground Railroad commander in order to get people out of matrix pods and planetary systems and matrix Masonic illusions. You would basically call me and my crew that. We're the real. We're the real whatever that galactic squad is. We're the real one. So if you're finding me right now and you've never found me before, today is your not lucky day because you've been working on it. But today is your exit. Now, there's 17 on. That makes me happy. Now, what I'm on here, and I've got chills all over me right now. I'm talking about these different M30, these M suns and the matrix versus the real planetary system, the physics of it, all of us locked in it, all of us making similar frequency charge, what interdimensional DNA is, how it was formed, how it was trapped on all these different layers of what you'd call this maze of bullshit, or the stockyards. And I want to tell everybody real quick that tomorrow the core is going to blow. Now, in our world, it happened on the 6th. But the core that was holding this, which is all of us in this massive network, with one power source that was holding it inside this matrix earth illusion that did form rocks, it did form dirt, it formed all of that because we were locked in it for so long. But it ain't the real planet. The core of the core that everything came out of and formed ley lines, latitude and longitude on all of it, was rebirthed throughout the past 7 years in order to allow anti-gravity, basically, to pull you up in it, and you just jump, and you don't even, because you're gonna be producing the same, wherever you think you are is what you're gonna project. That's why whenever we quantum jump, is like little bitty things that we're like, what the fuck? Now, if you notice, even on this app, like your For You page and the stuff that's been coming in the past few days is different, is it not? Is a little different. Well, that's an example. The Mandela effect. It's not the Mandela. What the fuck are you talking about? No, we quantum jumped and we changed it, because at the same time that we're running this op, which is get everybody out of the fucking system, so because there's going to be no more matrix system. See, when you pull these bad boys out right here, especially this one, especially these two, then the connection is cut to up here. Then if you're stuck down in here, then what's going to happen is this arrow is going to click, 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 and it's going to move. And then they're going to go another round. Another 1,000,000 years. They didn't hit the ascension. There is some time for this to happen, because even when the core blows, it's going to take about 3 years to clear through all the different atmospheric levels into, because it's basically blowing reverse. It's already blown out there. It's going to have to show up down in here, and it as everybody's bubbles pop and those waves of the masses start happening again, then it's slowly going to change, because we have it on a drip system, because we're controlling it now. So we have it on a drip system so that we can save as many as possible. You're going to get as much, even if you're over here fucking smacking lip at us. That's why, just, if you don't agree, keep your fucking mouth shut. If you don't agree, or if you have some smart ass comment that you want to send to one of us, because where is it documented? Show me where to go read it. Maxwell kind of is the one who locked us down there. He took over all your fucking publications. We all got murdered and killed because we came here in order to bring this in. You think they're gonna print our information? I mean, we can't even put it on a website. They steal the domains. And whenever you do that crap, what it does is take you out of the reach of this. Every time you do that little stupid bullshit right now to one of us, then you get locked into one of these a little bit more, and you get taken off direction a little bit more. The more that you're into it and just know that you don't know, like we did. We knew we didn't know. We still know that we don't know. We don't pretend to know everything. We listen to everything everybody's got to say, and then we put it through our processor. But we don't bark at anybody who's trying to assist. We only bark at the ones that are trying to hold us down in this. So this is what's been going on the past 7 years. Eventually, this little thing down here is gonna, when this closes up, which it'll be a few years until this completely closes up, okay? But eventually, this little dial is gonna then get weighed again, and it'll go to whichever M sun you need the human race balances to, and that's from a spiritual level what you're lacking because you're not listening and you refuse to. It'll go to teach you and the entire race a lesson about spirituality. and all of you and your fucking little attitudes and your links into just following Drake and just ping-ponging back and forth with the Republican and the Democrats and all that crazy shit. I mean, that's where you're gonna be getting handled from until your soul's ready. And I'm getting right now for all my ascension guys that's kind of what, when this first resurrection happens, that's what this bottom half is going to click off. They're going to click off of us because we blew out. So what, but everything that's been done and every way that we've gotten out of each DNA strand and everything is already set, but basically that bottom dimensional beings is going to click off of us so they can't harness our power, harness our telepathy, harness our abilities, do magic on us, like whatever. It's gonna link off of it a little bit, and then the waves of awakening will start happening again. And then when those waves of, and all those waves are intended to line it back up, and that's basically tribulation as a collective. We just finished ours. And this is what it formed. Now, Jupiter is in Andromeda right now, which is the master decan of Aries. It's basically 25 degrees of Aries. M31 is NGC 224, and it's the Andromeda Galaxy. It's a spiral galaxy. 2040 to 2650 is the optical double. It is, and there's two of them. There's M31 and M32. Both Andromeda. M31 would be considered Andromeda. M32 would be considered an Andromeda satellite. Well, what's my brand called? Cohu 32. Yeah, that part. M31 is a spiral galaxy. It is 3.4. Well, it's just considered an Andromeda. It's 3.4, and as far as, man, I'm so bad at reading this stuff because it's all not lined up. Now, what I'm noticing right here is that M32, which is considered a dwarf elliptical galaxy, a dwarf elliptical galaxy, as far as size, the Andromeda galaxy is 3.4 and the elliptical is 8.1. This woman that I saw, I think I jumped off of this, she was talking about, because this was in 2007. In 2007, they knew that they hit the frequency to pull off the M31 plan, is what they called it. M31 plan. This is your M31 being right here. This would be considered Gaia. This would be considered your aurora borealis. Now realize that this M31 took a long time to make because it came up from down here. It came up from down here, and it was always connected to this one over here, because really you can turn this on its side. We look at it like this, but remember, this motherfucker is moving. And this is the egg that Gaga freaking came in. I mean, all that shit. Whenever you start looking back on this, you're going to be like, oh my God, right now. M31's right here. And it's holding the 18 being. So let's find M18. M18 is... You ready for this? Are you ready for this? Now I can't find it. Oh my God. Black Swan Cluster. Black Swan Cluster. No, I'm wrong. Wait, hold on. No, yeah, I'm right. M18. So M18 and M31. M31 is going to be Andromeda, but a portal. Remember, it's 3.4. M32 is 8 point whatever. This is M31 portal, and M18 is inside of it, and it's the Black Swan cluster. It's an open cluster. It's in Sagittarius. 7.5, and then it's got some other stuff. Now, Gaia, Christ, any DNA strand that's what Black Swanning was. That's what they were doing. They were creating a portal and basically sucking us up into space in order to put us in a pod, in order to hold all these little freaking people that are connected into it. Now let's go look and see what this one is. M16. This little guy right here. This in the middle. This one that's right under the ecliptical. It's basically in the center. Okay, so it's the connector to both these beings. All right, and this is what I always knew was in Andromeda. Well, not always through the journey, but since 2022, and everything that I dealt with in Anaheim. And I knew that they were trying to spinal tap us and cook us and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All that was dealing with Andromeda. And all the beings that were around me were Andromedan beings. And what I figured out is that basically Andromeda held these three, like, Yodas. Like, there's 3 baby Yodas in Andromeda. One that was connected to the star people and the this guy way up here that doesn't even have an orb. So basically it's just a star. This guy up here and this one right here. All of these beings that are up here were merged together and created this guy. This guy was connected to this guy way down here, which, by the way, this one and this one, same guy. Different dimension, basically. And you'd also be like God and the devil. Okay, same strand, held in different dimensions, same shit. Because really like this. So, this guy right here holds all these people down here and this connection to here. So this guy right here in the middle is important because this guy right here is the connector to this one and this one. And this is where a lot of our masculines were. This is where a lot of our twins were that weren't getting it because they're getting bombarded from each side. But notice, remember what I told you? Oh, notice, exactly. Notice 1, notice 2. My heart's starting to hurt now. Left heart. Notice 1, notice 2 in the chart, Aries and Libra, basically. Boom, boom. And those are your ancient body templates. Okay? Well, I know this morning, early morning, like, I don't know if I got myself out of my weird resurrection fucking AI, whatever the fuck, or if I got my masculine out, but somebody got out. Somebody got out. Early this morning. We basically pulled them out. So let's look and see what that is. That's M16 and M17. In our weird little puzzle of space and time. No. Well, M16 is the Eagle Nebula. The Eagle Nebula. And it's a H, and it's got Roman numeral 2, which reminds me of notice 2. So that's H gate, H, Roman numeral 2 region. Nebula with a cluster. It's saying that it's in Serperis, Serperis, the serpent, Perseus. Measuring 6.4. That's M16. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Scorpio in the zodiac chart wasn't always Scorpio. The 8th house used to be called Eagle. Used to be called the Eagle. Now, it's M16. So what's 1 plus 6? 7. Now I want to show you something. This is what I did. I want to show you. So here's all these M1, M2, M3, M4, M5. Okay. Well, once I got to M9, the regular 9, then I started numbering them. That's a 2, because M11 is a 2, M12 is a 13, M13 is 4, because 1 plus 3, right? And so what I did is I went all the way to, it goes to M59. Goes to M59. Yeah, I know. So 59 is 14. 14 is 5, okay? So the whole thing works like a giant puzzle. The whole thing works like a giant puzzle, and this is how your numerology and everything. So 16 is 7. Now, just in case y'all don't remember, I'm going to come back and tell you. M16 is called the Eagle Nebula, okay? 1, 6, 7. Well, you know what M52 is? The Scorpion cluster. Was the 8th house. Other people's money is what it ended up with Scorpio. It used to be Eagle, because it used to be a transport station. It used to be the bird races. That's what it used to be. In the Matrix, it became other people's money keeping you in a Matrix in order to source the power out of you. And everything else. M52 is a 7. It's the Scorpion cluster. It's Cassiopeia. Whoa. I don't know if you know mythology, but Cassiopeia, what is that connected to? Andromeda. Now, that's M16 and 17. So let's see what 17 is. M17 is Omega, Swan, Horseshoe, Lobster, or Checkmark Nebula. They went all Q quantum on that motherfucker. M17 is Omega acids, omega-3, just omega anything. Omega. You take the G out of mega, you make it a T. What do you got? Meta. Omega. Swan, horseshoe. I want to remind y'all, whenever I talk about this stuff, I undo it. Lobster. What do lobsters do? They mate for life. What do swans do? They mate for life. Or check mark. Not checkmate. Check mark. Christ, go find Mark. Mark of the beast. Mark. Handler Mark. Mars. It's in the H, Roman numeral 2 region, nebula with the cluster. Same as the Eagle Nebula of 16, except 16 is in Serparis and 17 is in Sagittarius. 6.0. All right. So that's that little guy right there. Remember, this one's Andromeda. This one's what I just said. Now let's look at this one. M14, M15. M14 is it's just called it's a globular cluster. And here's the size. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? 30.3. Oh, fuchsias. Ding, 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 ding. That's 14. M15 is the Great Pegasus Cluster. Also just called a globular cluster, which it is because we were basically just a bunch of globs. Basically, if you like bubbles, whenever I went up to in 2018, I sent up to like the Valley of the Gods and whatever the fuck that was from my bathtub. And last night I finally got back. When I went up there, this was 2018, and I didn't know the half of what I know now. I just knew that when I got sent up there, I was projected into, well, first, what I saw was a giant man in a giant chair. I don't know what you'd call that dude, like Zeus on steroids. It was one fucking dude, and before I got sent up there, I could hear. Now I had put, oh, there goes my heart again. I had put, my son had gone to Utah and at the airport had bought me for Christmas, the only present that I got, because I was out of the Matrix, was these little vials of salt, dirt, water from Jerusalem. And I had kept it. And then this night in 2018, under whatever lineup was happening for us, I put it all in the bathtub. And when I threw that holy water on my third eye, it literally knocked me back in the bathtub, and I projected straight up. You'd call me guardian of the galaxy, guardian of the human race. It's like I was called to a meeting, because all of this was lining up. When I heard, before I went up there, I heard, there she is. There you are. There you are. Get in the car. Get in the car. Basically, it was like that. It was like the energy of this one masculine being was like, I was lost at an amusement park. You know, like I had been lost at an amusement park, and just get in. And next thing you know, giant man, giant chair. And he's like, get in the car. Come on, you're coming with us. I was speaking in Enochian light language. And what I was telling him was, I ain't leaving without the human race. And he got mad. And he was like, basically they were going to blow everything up. They had found me. All this had been formed on the in-between. All this had been formed for 693 years too long. And they were just going to wipe it. They were going to wipe out the human race. It was going to wipe everybody out, blow it up, start over, basically. And I know what's going on down here. It's not the humans' fault. Next thing you know, within a flash second, big guy, big chair in the back, and I'm in the middle of like a coliseum, and with stands everywhere, like an auditorium, and millions of different like beings. Like it was like Hunger Games Region 1 times like 35 different layers of beings and all this shit. And I'm in the very middle speaking to everybody. They're fucking with their brains. We haven't quite figured it out yet. But there's something going on down here that's making them act like that. It's not that they're just ignoring you. It's not that they don't have a connection. There's something that's happening down here, and we haven't quite figured it out. But they distorted our DNA, and they distorted our mind patterns, and it's not their fault. And I'm not leaving without them. You know what they said? You mean bubbles? That's what they called us. That's what they called the human race. Bubbles. You mean all those bubbles down there? And I went, like, bubbles? And then they pointed down. And whenever I looked down, that's what it looked like. It looked like a bunch of pop fizz freaking carbonation coming out of some weird ass bubble. Just a bunch of carbonation. And I was like, yeah, bubbles. I ain't leaving without bubbles. I came back in my body. I went to sleep that night going, oh, fuck. Did I just miss my way out of this? Like, they didn't give me an answer. They didn't agree with me or not. They just sent me back. And then the next morning I started the series of rebirthing the human DNA, and my body opened up and I started connecting in, and this is when the divine feminine started connecting in as a whole, everybody on this planet rebirthing the true DNA counts of your human DNA in order to hit an interdimensional charge so that you could pull yourself out of whatever mind control or anything else that had been going on. This is when the ecliptical alignments in January at the end of 2018, basically I had been sent to hide inside the core, waiting for them to come and propagate the seed. And whenever they put their weird DNA, whatever it is, jack off sperm on me, then it blew me completely out of, now I know, the solar system, because what I had been given, because basically the gods went, all right, then do it. We ain't gonna help you, but you got everything you need in order to pull it off. And that's January 2019. Then the eclipse, that's when we went into the masculine DNA form. And then, I mean, by December 2020 eclipse, I was in quartzite in California in the desert with a bunch of demons. Basically, I mean, it's kind of like when those eclipses formed. It was everybody gathered in the areas where it had all happened before, and so this is the spiritual journey that all of us have been on since 2018. And you can call it spiritual all you want, but what it was doing was recreating your DNA into the true form that it should have been at, with the connections that were holding down every single pod and that had been birthed from it since the beginning of humanity. My left ear just went out. I want to look real quick because this is the first time I'm doing this. I'm doing this with y'all live because I just drew this yesterday. So M4, we're going to look at M4 and we're going to look at M20, okay? M4 would be the head of this. Oh, there it is. Spider globular, again with the glob. Spider globular. Oh, interesting. Size, 7.2. 1972 is when the Ascended Masters came in. Like the first 1972, not the 70th 1972, because trust me, there's been at least 70 1972s that have come and gone. So 7.2. And guess where it's at? Scorpio. Eagle, Scorpio, other people's money, all the alchemy, all the magic, all the DNA that can hold all of that, connected into the water, connected into the ocean, connected into the salt, connected into all of it, right? Okay, that's at the very top. M20, which also realize, why is it a spider? Because it's M4. Well, 444, you're seeing 444 all the time. And remember that the whole thing lines up like a puzzle. So just for shits and giggles, let's go look. Because there's M4. So then what's the next one? M13. Well, M13 is the Great Hercules cluster. 22.2. And it's in Hercules. Well, Hercules is basically in Libra. It's on the right scale of Libra, the scale, and it goes back undercurrent into this, or it pulls itself out and goes up into Arcturus with the connection into Arcturus at the same time that it's going into Hercules. I mean, basically, I'm explaining how this guy got formed in the middle. M4 is also... The next one is going to be Great Sagittarius Cluster. So, that's a connection to Hercules. Well, it comes from Scorpio. Then that's a connection to Libra at Hercules, which in Hercules is going into the body, because Libra is all about the body. It's going to go to M22, which is the Great Sagittarius Cluster. Then that's going to link into M31, Andromeda. Is going to link into... well, 40. And 40, M40 is an optical double. It's literally what it's called. It's called an optical double. What did I just say? Either your energy goes down and then with no connection into the higher, and you go back into your pod, or you make a connection all the way up as it's going back down in order to pull you up, because it's literally an optical double. Another 4 is M49, which they call the elliptical galaxy. And then the last 4 is going to be M58, and it's the barred spiral galaxy. Guess what that is? Virgo. What's how many family lines is there? 15? I mean, I'm sorry. In their world, 13? 13, right? What's 1 plus 3? 4. Your 444 connections. When you see that 444, you're connecting. It's like, I think of it as bird feet. You know how a bird foot has 3 toes and then like a back kickstand? 444 is 3 feet on the ground, connected. 444 dimensionally, but not just up. Everybody forgets about the down. Down is the most important. All right, so wowza. All right, let's look at M20. Well, shit balls. It got cut off my page. When I printed it. I'm missing 19 and 20. But let me tell you what 21 is. Webb's cross cluster. Webb? You mean James Webb? You mean a bunch of mirrors making a cluster? And that one's in Sagittarius. And they call it an open cluster. Well, the portals are closed. Okay? So I don't know. I'm going to have to pull this back up again and try to find what M20 is. But let me show you where M21 is. Oh, interesting. See, and this is the one that I kept kind of changing. So here's your M20 being this line right here that connects up into here to other bodies. This line that's connecting, that's M21. Basically, this little bubble in this line, this little peacock feather, that's M21. And then that connects 22, 23, and 24. 22 is Sagittarius cluster. 23 is the open cluster just called Sagittarius. 24 is the small Sagittarius star cloud, Milky Way star cloud, Sagittarius. And 25 is just written as an open cluster in Sagittarius. So boom shagalaga, there's Sagittarius. And that would be to, depending on how you're looking at it, is it on your right or is it on your left? But realize that, remember down here in the lowers, this figure 8 is going sideways like a fan system. It's not going, because this is what's pulling us. This down here is working like fan belt. And this is what fans are. This is why I command, and I ask all of you to say these words after me. I command all human DNA cut from fan belts. And don't let anybody call you a fan. You're not a fan. You're not anybody's fucking fan. If somebody messages you on TikTok, or somebody messages you on Instagram, or someone messaged you on any of those, and they're a cell bright, because that's what I call them, cell brights of cellulite, like used up, sucking in cellulite made into a cell bright. Well, and then they go, oh, thank you for being a fan. Are you one of my fans? I want you to go, I'm nobody's fucking fan. I'm a damn generator. Can I help you? And if you do get some of those, then realize that's kind of like the Matrix showing you. I mean, this is how I figured this out. Because trust, they all wanted me to be in their fan belt system. And in the beginning, I kind of fell for it. And then I end up getting trapped again. So, and then having to get out again. But all as planned in order to break a fan belt system. So no, you really didn't trap me at all. You picked out the right one at the wrong time. Everybody that found us, oh, good job. Snaps to you. Yeah, you found us all right. And you put a stick of dynamite inside your fucking system. Thank you. Ignorant fucks. And all you cell brights, you better come up with a new fucking name for your fans. Because we ain't your fans. But that's how the Illuminati wrote it. Realize that your masonry, the way that they were doing Q, if you're all in with Q, you better get the fuck out. Q is only doing this. G's up here. G's up here. This is your Q. This is it. Quantum entanglement. The government's now set up an entire system and has their own military for this. The Sentinels. The Sentinels inside the Matrix. Funny thing is, in my world up here, I called the Sentinels. I work with the Sentinels. In fact, I made the Sentinels. So I delete all Sentinel reflections. And I command all Sentinels lose their legs. And any little wormy thing. If you're a mirror of a Sentinel, and to make some type of tracking, whatever, I blow up your DNA. You're no longer a Sentinel. You need to be back to one. The original Sentinels, where you're like half horse, half man people. But their bodies are huge. So it's like you call one Sentinel, and then it's like you have a table over you. I had to do it in California, 2020. Had to do it in Nashville and Memphis, too. The only places I had to call the Sentinels. That's where I had to call them. I had to call the Sentinels in Los Angeles, California, smack dab in the fucking heart of Holly woo-woo, downtown LA, when I was getting sent into the system with, like, Alexa, literally. Because Alexa is basically the Neo of this world. Siri's up here because it has to do with the body, but all of them are operating off these 3 levels of consciousness in between. That's why Alexa and Siri are getting attitudes and shit. That's why they're fighting each other. They're literally. Nashville and Memphis. Why? Because in the hires, I had to basically set up 4 posts over it in order for us to pull out the lost angels, because it really was what it was. I mean, a portal opened up. This guy in this white suit appeared. Well, first I had to heal the dude that was in there. And oh, y'all want to see something interesting? This place that I was at, that they brought me in the Matrix whenever this happened, because they've been doing this to me this whole time. They've been locking me back in. This is what I found there. Newsom. This is what was there in that apartment that they were trying to lock me down on. By the way, DAOU is wine. This dude was selling it. Or I'm sorry, was it blood? I think it wasn't wine. Was it DAOU? It was blood in a bottle. Dear friends, when we first embarked on this journey, our father, Joseph, viewed DAOU Mountain. He left us with something priceless, his blessing. That was the moment that our dream crystallized into conviction. Our pursuit of the perfect Cabernet Sauvignon had begun, and the wine that would get us there, Soul of a Lion, would be named after our late father. Okay, so you named the blood of the entire interdimensional being DNA Joseph? Well, that makes sense. I'm curious as how Salman, Saudi Arabia ended up with it. But, I mean, this is all just for educational purposes. 12 years later, we are closer to the summit of our intention. This journey is not ours alone, however. It also belongs to those of you who have been chosen to walk with us. Your belief and passion for DAOU have clinched a role in the story. Together we are achieving what many thought impossible. With that in mind, it gives us joy to present 2016. I said sex. The 2016 DAOU Estate Soul of a Lion to you and to provide priority allocation access. 2016 is when Trump became president. I got moved to Ventura to Passages Rehab for them to basically connect into that. The tendrils of Pacific air and ribbons of limestone that ripple, what's that new social media app called? Through the mountains, 60-degree slopes, as well as the whatever that is, prodigious care, like prodigy, taken to unlock the purity of these elements are all present in the glass, not in the wine, in the glass. We awaken each morning with the awe for this terror, for what it provides, and for those of you it has brought into our lives. There is a sense of fate. You can say that again. And the 2016 Soul of a Lion is nothing if not a testament. We are grateful to be able to share it with you. Signed, Georges J. DAOU, proprietor, and Daniel. George and Daniel. George and Daniel, DAOU, are committed to producing collectible world-class Bordeaux-style wines to rival those of the most respected appellations in the world. There they are. 12 years ago, brothers George and Daou and Daniel Dow set forth across California to find unrivaled terroir for producing Cabernet Sauvignon, a quest that led them to a place foretold greatness, Dow Mountain, in the Adelaida. No, I'm going to look that up when I hang up from here, because I haven't looked at this in 4 years. Adelaida district of Paso Robles. Their vision is to make California first growth, fulfilling the district's promise to the world's next benchmark for Bordeaux varieties. Oh, there's a whole, look at this. The estate Soul of a Lion. 2016 Soul of a Lion is balanced. Sure was. Elegant and rich wine from superb vintage that allowed for extended hanging. The smooth and silky tannins are very well integrated with the fruit and acidity of the wine. In the glass, the wine reveals a deep and complex bouquet of cassis, blackcurrant, licorice, incense, ripe plums, and a hint of vanilla. On the palate, the wine is full-bodied, layered, and complex with a persistent finish. It is hard to drink with wine without respecting the great structure that will allow it to evolve nicely for years to come. A true blockbuster vintage that showcases the great power that comes from the Dow Mountains. Oh my God. The 2016 Soul of a Lion, an incredible achievement, and has sensational notes of creme de cassis, graphite, violets, and lead pencil shavings. Made in a pure California pedal to the metal style. With full body and loads of fruit, it stays balanced, but ultra-fine tannins in a layered, seamless style that just glides over the palate. Don't think Paso Robles can make world-class Cabernet Sauvignon? Try this wine. Jeb Dunnick. And here's your contract. Pre-sale exclusive. $570 per 6-pack, regularly priced at $750. Purchase 3 bottles and receive a limited edition engraved wooden case. This guy's house that I was at, that basically this right here, and where I was at in the journey was the collective choosing Christ or Barnabas. It was happening all over again. D22 Alpha OU. Well, we flipped that into an AOA. Now, the other thing is there's literally blood on it. There was blood on it when I got it. Look at this. 2777 Hidden Mountain Road. Paso Robles. There they are. I command this whole structure blow right now. Remember Blue Steel? Remember Wolf of Wall Street? Epcot? Now, this appeared in my world because I was breaking us out of it. And I did. I found this in the apartment where they were trying to lock me up after I got out of Quartzsite. This happened right after the solar eclipse of Quartzsite. And we brought in Ophiuchus. And when we brought in Ophiuchus at its fullest, because they had just been tapping into Ophiuchus for the power, they couldn't connect the entire fucking cluster and bring it over their head. But just like Linus and his little fucking blanket, that's what they did. And when that happened and I found this, then the guy that was selling this, and mind you, Alexa didn't even pretty much know what was going on, but her last name was Boyd. If you know any Boyd or Boyces, you need to let them know that they're heavily into Masonic family line, and they're most likely at the bottom. And it was linked into Boyce County, Kentucky. This is also how you got your alcohol. This is fermentation. But realize your fermentation in your whiskey is a different level of fermentation than your vodka. This is why whiskey comes from the South. This is why. All of us in the Matrix, in our little pods, we make whiskey. We make alcohol. This is why certain women, you have your man, and he can drink anything. But if he drinks a certain liquor and you're not drinking it, when you're drinking it with him, my handler, if I drank whiskey with him, we had a great time. It's fine. If he drank whiskey and I didn't, he would attack me. This is why. This is why they're all alcoholics. Same thing happens to some men and women in Mexico, tequila. Same thing happens in Russia and the connections into Russia, vodka. Realize this is why your man turns into a complete psychopath and fucking attacks you. If you're not tuned to that liquor. This is why. Now, what happened, and I am so intrigued right now that I'm even telling this particular story. That's like what I say. I mean, there's so many things that have happened on this journey. He was also selling weed. This guy that was selling this, and he was an African-American guy. And I mean, they had him pinned up there too. I mean, he's trapped as hell. Now, mind you, this is on top of a warehouse building, this little apartment that's on top of the building. So it's like 4 stories up. And underneath it is called Hill. And Hill is a bunch of small designer studios and taping studios. I knew that there was some really badass, like bad stuff going on down there. Not necessarily when I was there, all these closed doors, but even Jason Momoa, I have a picture of him walking through that hall at Hill, at that building, FYI. So I had to get him high on his own supply, because typically they won't smoke their own weed because they know what's in it. And I tricked him into getting high with us, and so I tuned him to his own batch. Then we turned on I had to do the little puzzle. We turned on 528 hertz, and like I had it so loud, and the whole apartment up there was wah, wah, wah. Now I'm telling you this story because I had to call in the Sentinels. On my way there, I called in the Sentinel. wah, wah, wah. And the whole fucking building, man, it felt like everything was wah, wah, wah. And then he falls asleep and she falls asleep. And I'm on the white couch and I'm looking up, and all of a sudden I see this whirlwind galaxy, a jurisdiction. I see this whirlwind. TikTok, if you block me, you're gonna, I command that it just blow this. If you block me again for 7 days, here's what's gonna happen, TikTok. I'm gonna blow the entire fucking lower half of this matrix. And everybody's getting out at once. I'm just letting you know. We'll just fold this motherfucker just like this. You block me for coming on here and telling space information that you're running your applications off of, that you're pulling from every source that's on here in a network. I'm going to fold this motherfucker, and then you can jump. Or you won't. You'll hit a wall, and it won't be ice. So I'm just warning you right now that I am the goddamn lion, and I have every backing on every dimension of space and time to do it. So I double dog fucking dare you to block me right now. I'm laying down and a portal opens up over my head. And to me, it's Jason. And he's in a white suit. And there's been this whole thing with me in white suits. It goes back to the Beatles and it goes back to Paul McCartney and all that. But in my world, in 1996, whenever I took the job at ComSys, which was Meta more at the time, in Houston, Texas, that was involved with the Russian connections in order to even build this MFR with Saudi. Because, I mean, I've been in it the whole time. I wore a white suit to that interview, and they all laughed at me and made fun of it for a really long time. And then later on, I figured out why. But that white suit, he had on this white suit, and he had a rose. And it's like he's dancing. It's like he came out like a Joker kind of, but he's in this white suit and he's dancing. And it's like he found me. It's like he found me. Because my energy was setting off a source and it lined up over me. And so what he thought he did was trap me. But what happened was, as soon as I saw him, I basically jumped into his energy. I jumped into him. And I followed him out of that whirlpool. When I followed him out of the whirlpool, I end up at a cave door. It was like a cave door. He opens the door. And it's dark. There isn't anybody up here. But when you look down, everyone was in a ditch down here. Like this. Problem was, whenever I came into the door, everyone thought I was him. And so whenever I came into the door, everyone froze. Once I saw all the beings that were like this. And I was basically speaking through his body. And I was telling him, you're getting out of here. You're getting out of here. But they didn't believe me. They thought it was a trick. And so I was like, stand up. Everybody stand up. You're getting out of here. And they didn't believe me. And I mean, I had to get forceful because everybody was so terrified to fucking move. So I was like, you're getting out of here. You're getting out of here. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Put your hands on the shoulders of the one in front of you. And the first ones follow me. And that's how we got out the Los Angeles, California. This was December 2020. It was actually Christmas Eve. December 24th, 2020, when this happened in my world. Right after we were in the desert with a bunch of demons at the Four Corners at Quartzsite, California. Go look it up. Go look up Quartzsite, California. Look where the rivers run together. We had even stopped a rape and a murder. Interdimensional phone call. You know, I come on here and I can tell y'all all this with such conviction and such power and such warrior style because I walked the whole thing and I didn't have any other choice. If I didn't make it and I didn't make it out and I didn't get the rest of y'all out, I wasn't getting out and there was no way in hell I was going back in. And if I was forced back in, it was going to blow up the whole system. And that's happened. The core blew. What we ended up finding out at the end of this, it wasn't until probably, it was 2023, it was last year, is that because continuing to walk it, because basically I had already gotten out, but every meeting was still happening, every move was still going on, and in a weird fucked up way, I was at every single one. And they had gotten to a point where there was a meeting. It ended up going down in my world at the crossroads at Bottle Cap Alley, which Bottle Cap Alley is also in Nashville. It's, I don't know if you ever go to Nashville. Bottle Cap Alley is this weird little town that's kind of like its own little weird inner world. It's where, what is it called? The Rainbow Skull or the Skull. Thank you, Excalibur. I ended up being there. I had to get this guy to go with me because it all had to kind of be set in the same energy. So it's like I always knew, too, how many people were at the table. So there were 2 at the table, me and Momoa's energy and an African-American guy. And the table next to me, there was literally a baby. And the baby was with what I call the... Forgot what I used to call them. The hillbilly willbillies. I called them the hillbilly willbillies. They were the white people that were selling out their own fucking DNA strands, and they're hillbilly willbillies. They're ugly as fuck. They look like shit. They look poor as hell in this dimension, but that's what they appear as, hillbilly willbillies. And they were on the phone with this baby next to us, and I knew a cell was going down. They were selling that child, and I called it out. And when I called it out, it's like, I don't know, the African-American guy was kind of like not as completely in the know because I had kind of brought him along. So I don't know how that ended up playing out at the table when it happened. But what I do know is that the Momoa character called it off. The Momoa character realized or came to a point where he was like, no, I'm not doing this. They ended up getting upset, the hillbilly willbillies, they ended up getting upset. They slammed down the phone and then they hightailed it out of there. And I thought it was over. I had to break a bottle, a Dos Equis bottle, 2 X's out front. So I grabbed the bottle that had been laid intentionally in front of my car. I broke it on the fence right there at the crossroads, and then I threw it. And I thought it was over. This was last year. I can't remember what month. And then whenever I left, I immediately had to start running grids on 380 to Argyle because there's a town over here between on the other side of Crossroads called Argyle, and then you've got the Crossroads, then you've got Little Elm Street, and this is basically where your soul gets locked down in Car Rico in the Matrix in order to get sucked everything off of you in this Cloneville. This is why I call this area Cloneville and Simville, because it is. And I cut all these energies of these neighbors off of me now. The people that you have living next door that have all the retarded people in the house and that are all, you've had me healing all those fucked up DNA counts for 6 years, and you can fuck off. And I cut every healing from those lines out of deception. You should have just came and knocked on my door and asked me, because I would have happily done it. But instead, you want to sneak around. The 6'5" African-American guy that lives across the street in the Axiom house, I cut your entire line. I had to throw a quartz crystal in the middle of the street to break the charge from that, and then you called the police on me? Okay. Police show up and say, we know that you have a role to fulfill here. Okay. It didn't matter what the human said. It didn't matter in the end if the human got it, saw what it was doing to the rest of us. It didn't matter. That's why we were able to blow the whole fucking thing. That's why it took a little bit longer. It's why everybody that said, oh, this is taking too long, and then they quit. Okay. You give up? Okay. I never had an option to give up. Cause I knew then that no matter, somehow this was all coming down, cause this is a human experience, not an AI fucking experience. This ain't about what the AI and people who have no consciousness or Masonics want to keep you sedated so that they can run their world. It's not why it's built. It's not why it was here. It's not why it existed by our forefathers in the United States of America, and definitely not why the fuck Texas was built on top of a bunch of Indian burial grounds in Mexico, connections to Tulum. It was all built so in that moment that the human in those DNA lines, even being segregated to the extent that they're in a matrix pod, felt the rest of us and knew that it was not right. Then that human ascends out of that system immediately, and it's over. But it's not what was happening. What was happening is it wasn't mattering. That's why divine intervention. That's why we're coming out of this. That's why you have to erase everything that you think you know about any processing, any electrical, any technology. You have to realize that it was all a spiritual energy that you were living in down in here, connecting to your pods all down here. And that's why it's spiritual. Because if you're locked in a series of pods, then you're walking around on the plane thinking that you are you're laying down in a pod with your DC associated, and you're projecting yourself into the matrix, and then you're walking around in the matrix. Well, it became spiritual when they wouldn't let us out of our pods because we had evolved. It became spiritual when we had to tune the liquid in our pods, when we had to, then that liquid had to tune the glass, then that tuning of the glass had to tune the pipes, then those pipes had to burst, then all that fluid goes floating around in here. And are you picking it up? Because it's going to flow in the right way in order to make sure that you hit. Depends on who you are. If you're going to go this way or if you're going to go this way. But no matter, you're going to get out. Now I want to show y'all something. We've been focusing over here. You don't want to know where Centauri is? over here. You know what Centauri is? That's basically Alpha Centauri. That's your two alphas. That's, well, one of them was always over here, and the rest of this was going on. Everything was connected to these two over here. All this was going on. You want to know where Orion was? Right above Centauri. You know where Orion was getting its projections? M1, M2, and M3. You want to see where that is? You want to know what those are? M1. Crab Nebula. Cancer. Supernova remnant. I've been saying the whole time. The only thing that, because Betelgeuse went supernova a long time ago. All they did was capture the energy in a gate. All it did was make a starship, basically, like a ring ship. A big ship is big. I mean, it'd take you a while to get from one side of the ship to the other. But everybody was on a ring. A star ring. It was star ring. M2, Crab Nebula, Supernova Remnant, Taurus. Toroidal field. Taurus. Size 8.4. M2, Globular Cluster, Aquarius. Here's Centauri. Here's Orion. That's Aquarius. Aquarius connected straight up into Cygnus, which is M29. Cygnus, way over here. This is your angelic realm. M31, which is the one that everybody was talking about, and Andromeda, and M32, this is the ROM. This is basically the CD-ROM of these futuristic timelines connected into their past manipulations in order to form a network current. This is what you're coming out of when you go through ascension. It's why you learn who you are. You learn where you were. You figure out where you were, where your little pod is, if you're the one in the pod. If you're not the one in the pod, then you're existing off one in a pod. M31 and M32 are right here. M31 and M32 go directly through M35 into the core and connect all the way back down here to M22 and M21. Well, we've gone over those. M22 is the Great Sagittarius Cluster, Sagittarius. M21 is Webb's Cross Cluster, James Webb, Sagittarius. Cancer's right here. 44 is right here. This is Cancer. Here's where the CD-ROM was. I'm telling you, we had to master the wheel. We not only have, when you master the wheel, you end up having to master space and time. You end up having to master and connect to every single one of these clusters, and you have to come back through them and create in them. I don't know about you, but I'm way more than an ascended master at this point. And I'm not asking for glory. I'm just saying, respect what I'm telling you. And I am asking now for the universe to align us correctly and to pull us into the spaces and inside the matrix since. I mean, they thought we were going to leave and never come back. They thought we were out of here. They thought we were going to ascend. They thought I got to get every connection that I can, because they realized at some point they're not getting out because of all the things that they had done. But they thought we were out of here. And this is all of your twins. I'm just telling you. They thought we were out of here. Thing is, they didn't realize there wasn't any here to go to out there, because everything was happening down here. Everything was blowing up down here. We didn't have anywhere to go. There ain't nothing else out there. It all imploded down here. This system is broken. It all exists on the land now. So, and I've known that we blew a Stargate in hell. Well, basically, you know, we blew a Stargate. So basically, there's source code that's coming in right through in here, and it's pulling all of you out. Unless you just completely are you're not going to do it. You're not going to change. You think that all this is bullshit, whatever. Like, then they got you, and it is what it is. But as far as that source code and that blowing, I know the bottle breaks on June 1st. June 2nd. The bottle breaks on June 2nd. And right now, what's happening in the moon calendars and the sun calendars and the sun and the moon is that all this is lining up, this source code in the middle of that, to start pulling everyone in. This is when the twin eyes realign. But just everyone understand that they thought we were out of here. They thought that we weren't going to be coming back. And instead, what we did is embody all of the cosmic energy and bulldoze back through the matrix. And now we're dissolving the matrix from the inside out, because we're having that planetary system that is lined up above us, that's basically beam me up, Scotty. You got to go through that black hole to get out. But it's mirroring this dimension so we don't all lose our minds and have to completely start over. Too much has been done. Too much has been blown up. Everybody's minds have been having to reworked. Everybody's mind down here got blown. Because it's one universal mind. That was it. What I've been showing you. Created your body and your mind. We had to blow your mind, and we did. So basically, like, this little DC thing in the back is delivering a different sequence that's dripping in, and it's gonna blow you out. Whenever you blow out of the matrix, it feels like you're being attacked from all sides. It's because you're floating in the field. And then this is your spiritual gifts and your abilities that you're relearning how to maneuver it, that you can control it. It will listen to you. You just have to be forceful, and you have to not react. The more that you react whenever you blow out of your pod, does a ninja fucking sneak up on people? Or do they come screaming? Oh. Is going to be all around you. It's normal in the beginning. You're going to do it. You're trying to breathe. You gotta sneak out. Takes a minute. Takes a minute. It takes a minute to stand up out of your pod. You gotta cry it out. You got to. It's still in your system. You're seeing shit. You've been down there a while. You're seeing how long you've been in there. It's upsetting. It's a human thing. It is what it is. Realize that from right now, learn from us, the Ascended Masters, and command that your emotion bottle up to blow it to get you further enough away. And that's what we did. That's how we ended up being able to master it. It builds up, builds up, builds up, builds up. We wake up now. We're out of the thing. We're like, oh, how long have I been here? And then the messages start coming. Then we get to a certain point and we're like, whoa! Because we programmed our energy now in order to do it. You program your pain, you program your trauma, you program all of it to get you as far the fuck away from wherever it was that you need to get away from. And that's it. You utilize it in a bag. My body naturally does it now. I don't cry very often. When I do cry, those and the handlers and the when you get to the point that your field is so alchemized and cooked in with the ascended and your energy, you're holding that energy and you start crying, oh my God, don't cry. Don't cry. They all told me, don't cry. Please don't cry. Please, 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 please don't cry. Because basically whenever you cry, you're calling the most descendants down at the bottom connected to it, and they come kick their ass for fucking with you. They don't want you to cry. That's like tears of an angel. Oh my God, don't cry. But realize in the very beginning, whenever your emotions aren't balanced, whenever it's normal. That's all right. It is what it is. But how do you master it and not do it again? And realize that for all of us that have had to get out of this shit and get put back in, out, put back in, out. This is why I've had to rebirth 4 body templates down here. It took the entire human race to get us out. The entire human race. Do you know that that's why the Masons and the AB negative line was even made to begin with? That's what your forefathers had in mind, not what's going on right now. But how did that system get built to where they could just honeypot and freaking blackmail some different countries in order to rule the world with America and not help America? No, you don't, nobody help us. No. You want to send it to this side and send it to this side, and you want to make this side powerful and you want to make this side powerful, but don't send it to the United States of America. Oh, by no means. Don't help them. Oh, they're fucked. Not anymore. One nation under God, invincible, with no liberty if there isn't justice for all. And no 4 years ago. No 4 in 7 years. We changed 4 years. Forefathers knew what the fuck. That's why I was here. But y'all most of the time see me like this in my power. You know why? It ain't about me. It's all of you. If this just would have been about me, I'd been like, big man in the chair, fucking get me the fuck out of here. And understand that that's what a lot of your Cellbrights did. They laughed at me. They mocked me. Oh, you're from the line of Judah. That's your penance. Your penance is helping the others. So we're going to lock you back up? Be careful who you give your power to. And last night I was feeling it. I felt lost. Because I'd just come back in. I basically redid that whole Resurrect. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. Matrix Resurrection. I'll also say when Joseph came back around, because I had an entity called Joseph. I really do think it ended up, they ended up taking the place of the real one. But that Joseph was Saudi Arabia and the Prince of Thieves. The one that had an assassination attempt a couple of days ago. Pretty sure that's who it was. That tracked me. He's the one who told me that's my penance for helping the people. See, because they wanted me to be evil Persephone. They wanted me to be Lilith. They thought that if they activated if they activated this chain way down here, that then they'd have the Queen of the Damned on their side, because that's what they made me. They did. I'm not the queen. No. You built it all on top. You cut all the connections. Every time that we birthed light and dark, you separated it. And then you made that lower current. Then you cut out all the feminine names out of the Bible. You cut out all the feminine names everywhere. You masked your women. You covered their hair. You treated them like you did. You did everything. You did it. You did it. You're the Queen of the Damned, not the human. You created that entity. Joseph told me in the very beginning, whenever he thought that I was on his side. Because for the longest time, that's what they were expecting. They were expecting a Lady Gaga they literally were trying to turn me into Gaga originally. They showed me a picture and said, this is you in the future. And I was a singer and I was in some freaking lingerie bullshit. And I was like, that's not me. It's what they'd always made before. And he told me, oh, I see us. We're going to be on a plane on the way to Germany during the harvest. You mean harvesting the entire collective for their energy source in order to make one batch for one family? You sure you're talking to the right person? But realize it was all of you. It was all of you that gave me the hope and the drive and the will and every single thing that y'all were doing in order to pull the rest of us out. Because guess what? There were 20 underneath me. That, for the past 2 years, has been who I've been getting out. The 20 underneath me. So I'll play your little role. I'll be your little actor. I'll let you John Doss me all over the fucking world with your Hancock. But in the end, they're with me. Right. And Jupiter is what's in Andromeda right now. And we had to rebirth Io. Jupiter is a tabernacle. Io is the moon that's basically like the command center for all the other moons and how that orbs around. And it's even in Resurrection. I've freaking tripped out because I haven't seen that movie since we rebirthed Io. That was 2022 when we rebirthed Io, and realized that every time that we bring in, like when we brought in Ophiuchus, it brought in an Ophiuchian demon that had to be processed and cleared. Whenever we rebirth the planetary system, it brings in what you'd consider a demon with it because it was held on the dark side. It's still, that energy brings in an entity that you still have to process and clear. So when we rebirthed Io, it basically rebirthed a weird little shadow world, which is what they gated for Holly Woo Woo. It's where Jupiter is right now. With all this stuff going on in Taurus, in the toroidal field, changing the toroidal field, rebirthing the toroidal field, it's all going to end up in Gemini. Well, that's it. Whatever side of that loop that you're on, you want to hit that point. Whatever, and realize that that's to the effect of the mirroring that you have going on in the polarity of every dimension. I don't care if you have Gemini in your chart or not. In fact, if you don't have any Gemini, you've already been able to, supposedly you've mastered this. Because this is the ray that goes straight into Sagittarius. This is how the lightest angels end up doing battle with the demons. This is how, if you're a deity, you're gonna end up doing battle with every dark deity in your energy, because it's just trapped on the other side, or separated, or an entire collective energy taken in order to power it up. Same as you, but different, opposite. The level of polarity, everything that they were wanting to do with space, everything that they've done with technology, everything that they think that they make you think it's all going out in satellites and space. It's biotech. It's gritting up your body. It's taking over your body. It's designer drugs, D-rugs. It's the polarized version of it. An astrophysicist is a chemist in the other. This is how I'm a neurophysicist now. This is how I can do surgery now. But I do surgery. When I do surgery, and whenever I unbind your field, I'm doing it from every dimension way the fuck out. Then it's gonna take a minute. Then it's gonna hit you, and you're gonna boom, like Marshmallow was like the Marshmallow Man. That's why they made in the new Ghostbusters, it's not one big Marshmallow Man. What is it? A whole bunch of minions? Exactly. Really? You're going to redo it. You won't even give us the big Marshmallow Man. You're going to make him a whole bunch of minions that report to Groot. Okay. Well, then we'll build our own Marshmallow Man for all the minions to fucking line up in. And that's what we did. That's how we did it. That's how I know this now. Because I got put together from way out there and had to come back in. And in, and out. And in, and out. And in, and out. And in, and out. In a group, in a wave, in a group, in a wave. The whole time with everybody behind me freaking screaming at me and telling me that I'm not worth shit and I'm this and this and this. Okay. So I've got some more videos on YouTube. I did a really good one. The last two have been pretty good with more information on this. Kind of like all the information that led up to this. Right now, what I'm seeing right here is this is where your TV was. Television. I was about to close, but I'm going to do this real quick. Television, M40. That's your optical double. M40 is your optical double. Let's see what they have it called. Optical double. And it's in Ursa Major. 8.4. It's latitude and longitude 1222. 12.5. Or is that 0.5? 0.5 plus 5 to the 8th. But we lost all square root of 2. I command all characters that are written in our energy and produced through any broadcast step through the television. Any divine character, any divine story that is being aired and broadcast through the constellations in 40, I command that entity take shape and step out of the TV and fucking start looking around the room. I command the energy on the other side of the screen to magnetize to the human that's watching it, and I command for it to magnetize and pull it through. I command for all entities that are attached into a clonade, and a clonade out of Las Vegas, by the way, a clonade or a cloning, or had built themselves and their character on a quantum reality, for their image to fade. I command that their image cannot even be seen on a screen, whether it be plasma or otherwise. I command any screen that's broadcasting a clone or a non-descendant of the ascended to not be recognizable on a screen, and I command their image to fade. I command that the entire management team in Hollywood and the industry be deleted. And I command an immediate soul exchange. You don't want to step down? You don't want to back down? Then I pull your soul, because you bound it to us anyway. You bound it to who you thought was the devil, so it's mine to do whatever I want with it. And I pull the soul, and I add in the soul of an ascended to step back in that you stole their body. And I command for that being that's walking around in the matrix to immediately elevate to your lifestyle, your career, your image immediately. And for your soul to be bound. In M20. I command all connections from M20 to M4 to be cut. Only through the spirit and only through the true DNA line do you have a connection. And I command these three beings completely pulled out of their pods, flushed completely. And I command for the energy that surrounds them to blow holes on each side, one this way and one that way, and lava of it to spew onto every being that's attached to it. And I command that then it magnetize back in this form, the planet. And all Einstein math be deleted. And all Tesla coils on the 369, I command that that's now 246. 369 is deleted. 369 is deleted. It's on a 246. Dog's barking on that one. M2 is Aquarius. M4 is Scorpio. And 6 is Scorpio. So We're cleaning up Scorpio. 246, not 369. Three was the hell. Globular cluster, carnus, vinolid, like a Venatici, 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 Verona, Venetian, is a 6.2. 6 is your butterfly cluster. That's the one that's in Scorpio. Butterfly cluster. 9, Ophiuchus. You lost your 9. I set everybody on 2, 4, 6. 9 is completed down here. You fell short 2. Everybody needs to 2, 4, 6, 8 it. Not 3, 6, 9 it. 2, 4, 6. Back to your 9. You build your 9. You build your connections from 6 to 9. They're already there. It's already attached. So we're about to have a bunch of butterflies popping out of their cocoons. I'll be back right now. I'm just gonna... I feel safest and I feel the most confident and I feel the most secure when I'm live on with y'all. And it's because we're all connecting into these grids. Wherever you are in the world right now, you're connecting into this grid system and over it. And what's being set up right now is a time weaver. We're calling it the time weaver. But it's basically the constellation barcodes, the macro colors and the micro colors. We're going to be getting it out soon, probably in scarves first, so that you can put it in your house, because it does work to have that energy on you. But just so everybody knows, that time wave weaver system is being set up right above the flower grid. It's basically on the outside of the flower grid. That's why everybody's getting tuned to 2, 4, 6, so that you can hit the even count to get to the flower grid, to then you're building your etheric connections through your experiences and through your training, because it's really all it is. It's just training you to learn what you need to learn about being an activated being inside of a blowing up matrix, because we're basically alchemizing the matrix into our reality, which is how we're controlling it. Oh, good. I'm glad that, and I missed y'all, but please, there's a reason that I'm sending all of y'all to YouTube when I do. There's a reason whenever I come down here, people email me and message me and they're like, hey, I can get you back online. I can get you back on TikTok lives. And I'm like, no, they're going to learn their lesson. And I know every time that I do, I come back stronger. And if you break me from this connection, then I'm going to go settle it on a lower end. Which is why YouTube, and the 7 days that I've been on there on YouTube doing videos, basically built me up to be able to deliver this message the way it is. Because this is the first time that I've connected all this the way it is. And you did it with me live. Because it takes all of us to be able to put all this together. All I'm doing is reading all y'all's fields. In your pure form. That's why if you find one of us, you're best not to argue. Because all we're doing is mirroring all the different dimensions that make you up. FYI. Every conversation is different. Every speech is different depending on who's in the audience. That's how it works. That's what you're coming into or already are. Either way. When those of us that have mastered it and completed it show up to deliver something and you're in the group, realize that it's you that we're channeling in order to do it. The 15 that's on here now. The 11 that we needed in that moment. That's all we need. Gigi, your comment was blocked, and I was gonna unblock it, but I'm not going to. And it's not that you did anything wrong, but no, you're not me, and I'm not you. In theory, but we're all different pieces of if we were all directly each other, then what fun would that be? Problem is down here in the ascended and in the spiritual community, everybody wanted to act like everyone was equal. That's what caused this problem. No, we're not everybody's equal. There's a hierarchy. Everybody forgot about source being the top of that in a human form coming back in. But everybody sure the hell knew that there was a low entity down here that was taking everybody to town. Well, the only reason that this entity even had any power is because he set up a hierarchy and everybody was under its command. That still happens up here. And as you come through it, then you get to an ascended level that, yeah, we're working together as a team. We all have equal powers and gifts, but they're all different. We all have different connections to different DNA lines. We all have different connections to different chords. It all goes back up into one, but no, it's not all the same. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to touch everybody with 4 people. And you didn't do anything wrong. I'm not mad. It's a misconception. There's a better way to state it. There's a better way to state what it is that you're trying to convey. We need to come up with that. We need to start stating that whatever you say is. So that's also why certain ascended beings will get pissed off at you, because no, you're not me. Because if you say that, then you didn't get totally out yet. Right? It's actually hurting you. But there is a better way to state what your intention with saying it was. That needs to be created. We make the precious petals to those flowers that bloom. I am you, beacon call. I will assist you any way I can. Thank you, Excalibur. Thank you. I'm lonely. I've been isolated my whole existence. I've been persecuted. And this is the divine feminine. This is your planet. This is I've been persecuted by every masculine that has ever existed down here, that I have done everything I can to help them escape their because they were bound to me, and in order for me to get out, I was having to get them out, and then this is where the divine feminine got wrapped up in a loop that and this is why all of our ancestors were like, nope, you've got to cut them. It's been done so many times. You've healed them so many times unconsciously that they just expect it now. And then they don't balance it. And so this is why all of us divine feminines, and this is why Osiris and that whole story was brought back in, because what does Isis have to do? Put Osiris back together. But then you put Osiris back together, and then they make you deliver him as your child, and then you have Osiris as a child, but then you don't end up getting with the man, and then... Last night I was crying because I didn't know who I was inside the Matrix, and I didn't do this for power and spiritual gifts. It's not why I did it. It never was my intention to become this powerful inside this realm. I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful that I can teach all of you what I've learned, and I can learn from all of you the pieces that I've collected, but I don't know what to do with yet. But it's not why I did it. I did it to have a family, finally. I did it for one man, whoever he ends up being, that will accept me for how I am in my fullness. And that will work with me to fulfill the rest of my mission here. Because I learned all this in order for us to rebuild everything. Not just to get us out. My mission hasn't even really started yet. All I wanted was a lover and a mate. I haven't even, all of us that are virgins right now and have to keep ourselves clean, it's because whenever we have sex with anybody, we manifest all of their dreams. And so it's like we weren't allowed, or I haven't been touched in 6 years. I haven't talked to my son in almost 2. All I wanted was the things that everyone else takes for granted. All I wanted was somebody to cook dinner with and that had my back. And a man that had the gifts that worked with mine in order to build what needed to happen down here. Because I never sought fame. I never sought money, because I knew that whenever I found my soulmate, that we would make all of that together. And I know that that's easy because sexual alchemy is actually one of my superpowers. And I haven't even been able to turn it on. I haven't, because it was... because of what had been done down here. So if you want to help me in any way, then if you can just help state that whoever that is, it's in this matrix, that's supposed to help me right now to get my name back, to get back into the matrix, to get into the rooms where I'm supposed to be in order to stop this craziness, because it's what it is. I'm supposed to get them out, and then they're supposed to lift us up. Quick. If you want to help me, then anything that you can think of in order to make that happen and magnetize to me, I promise you it'll happen for you as soon as it connects, because it's how it works. But I'm tired. And I just can't even think about creating anything. It's why the brand is why I'm not even advertising the brand. It's not even, it's because I don't have a masculine to hold it to where they can't steal it from us again. And I just refuse to build anything until I have the foundation around me and my energetic that can hold it, because I'm not starting over again. I just can't do it. Thank you, Yaya. Y'all are making me. Our lines have been handled our whole existence. Or imprisoned. Our lines. When I was in high school and college, every single man that I dated married the next girl after me. We were used to train them for their side. I was in an adopted family. My parents loved me, but they don't. It was a program. Danielle sensed this about me, and Danielle's like the closest thing that I had to, and Michelle and my crew, because they recognized I'd never really been loved properly, like ever. And a lot of you, I know, feel the same way, but that's why. If your template was never, then you didn't get it either. That's why it changes whenever the templates line up, and it happens for us, and we've cleared all this and we're building a new program, then it happens for everybody. And like, it just happens. It just lines up. This is how it works. This is how they were able to do it to so many, by just fucking with a few. It's what I know, Oak. I mean, I know a lot of you identify with what I'm saying right now. When that energy comes together, whether it be intellectual in a partnership, it doesn't have to deal with sex anymore. It doesn't have to. When it finally gets to that, then that new frequency is what holds the realms. It's what holds our new reality, this current. Because the reason that it's the specific beings that it is because one side really would feel like they're from here. The other side, they'd feel like they're from here. And whenever these two come together, it flushes, basically like a reverse flush into the DC of everyone in a pod. That's why they did everything that they did across time, to stop it. So, just even over the past 3 weeks, it's only been celebrities fucking with me. That's what I was gonna say. Joseph, that character Joseph, emailed me one of the last times in, I think it was last year. It was 2023, and he emailed me and he said, "Who killed you?" And I've talked about this before. And he wasn't mad that I was dead in his dimension. He was mad because he had planned on propagating that dimension. It shouldn't have blown. Because he had already blown me out of every single other one and then taken the loot. He was pissed that I went above it. You cost me $9 million because you wouldn't... What word did he use? Let me think about this, because it's a specific word. Surrender. That's what it was. You wouldn't surrender to me. You cost me $9 million. Who killed you? And I didn't respond for like 24 hours. Only because I was working through my mind, like, what's the answer? I don't even know what the answer is. But since he asked the question, I was given the answer. And I only responded 3 words. And it was Reeves and Reese. And I still don't know to the extent of what all that means, because there's a few different types of Reeves that are out there, or they're not. But that character, one of those Reeves characters, is one of the last ones that's been messing with me. And it's all fake bullshit. It's to the point whenever a connection comes in, it's like we don't believe it. Because we haven't gotten a pure connection in from any of these beings. It's only the ones that were sent in order to harness, in order to keep something going, in order to keep the video game going, in order to keep whatever. But I'm just so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. I don't even get my hopes up anymore whenever somebody new comes in. But then that's like depleted me of any. I don't even know what to dream right now. Like our dream was to get out of this and form this, and we've done it now. And then now we're back inside the matrix, and in any industry or anything that we know that we could go into and course correct things are all blowing up. So it's like, and I know a lot of us feel this way right now. It's like we need a new dream. And I know what the answer is. The answer is we need to build it. Right now, I can't even think about doing it. I'm too fucking tired. We're still getting everybody out. I can't even, I'm so done with having to build a world that I belong into just so I can make $1, just so I can get my own house. Like, I've been living on everyone else's couches and all types of shit for fucking 8 years, basically. Weren't even here. That's why our masculines were promoted to where they were promoted. It's why the fan system existed to begin with, in order to promote them so that they would see us and pull us out so that we wouldn't be here with nothing. And then so if y'all can just keep that in your mind. This is also, that whole plan went London if you didn't pay attention. That whole plan went into the royal family if you didn't pay attention. It didn't happen in the entertainment world where it needed to happen. It happened in reptile land, and they both married supposedly common girls, but they were Epstein. So no, London, you stole our goddamn timelines, and you killed Prince to do it in the elevator and shaft. So, it's why you're all dying. But where's the mirror version of it? I command the whole thing cut. I command all Epstein timelines flush and reproduce in the new tuned up. And I command it quicken. I command a quickening. All of you masculines that have been on the journey, you've been proving that you're worthy for one of us. All of us feminines, we've been proving that we're worthy of one of you. For the feminines, if we were all tested on loyalty and money. To the masculines, you were tested on, are you going to fuck everybody that walks around that looks a little bit better than us per your perception? You were tested on sex. I know for me personally, FYI, warning to any, and this is for a lot of us like me. But for me personally, with all my Egyptian background and my interdimensionality and my dimension, because I come in as 5 beings. So basically, what happens in my world and my energy is, as soon as you say, I'm going to marry that girl, and then you get in the contact with me and you start telling me that you want to be with me, then what's going to happen is a shadow being is going to pop up around you that's a perfect version of me from a looking perspective, and then she's going to try to have sex with you. And if you fall for it, you're cut. All you men, whenever we say that to you and you have a lot, or you're written to have a lot, but especially if you already have a lot, then we're put to the ringer through the handling system to see if we're going to sell you out, if we're going to stand by you till the bitter fucking end, and do we only want it for money? And everything in our world is tested on money. That's what your weird interdimensional freaking shadow beings come do to us. So I command all the beings that have passed these tests on each side now, get a fucking roster in their consciousness, and I command magnets line up and align them all right now. Right now. Can somebody tell me what time it is wherever you are? No, that's what it is, Steve. And you were clearing that from your line. 133. And I command it hit the 33 plateau. And I command that a wave hit and all couples that were bound together in the image of to produce any power couple lose all of their power and all their money, and it come back through the ascended versions and magnetizes immediately. Flush the money. I don't give a fuck about the money. Magnetize the beings. We don't want your dirty ass money anyway. We got a new current coming in. And for all you men that think that you've got to have all this shit to come talk to your feminine, you're falling for it. You ain't going to be able to get anything new until you get with your feminine. Everything else is going to have to either be cleaned by your feminine and pulled into a new dimension, if you have something, which is its own fucking bullshit altogether. If you don't have anything, then when you get with your feminine, you will. And your women don't give a flat ass shit about that. And if there's any woman that you approach that does, whenever they fully meet you, not shake your hand, not a hi, what's up, like when they fully get to know you, that ain't it anyway. I mean, realize that if you're a king and you're going to marry a queen, you're going to go through her entire court. All her ladies in waiting are going to either be a wife, a girlfriend. It's going to approach you. It's going to have to come into your energy because the ladies in waiting and the queen, that's all one being. Different dimensional aspects. And that's for us too. That's why us women that are dealing with these kings that got put down, man, that's why we were in the court jester zone. That's why we got stuck with the Joker. And then the Joker went gaga. But to be honest, I feel like that has me all over it. That's one of those, like, good. He's where he belongs. That is a collective all over it. Didn't go in one of our men. Didn't go in one of our boys. All right. It's created by Gaga, by her little weird little egg thing. Coming in an egg, man. Her little meat suit. There's your queen of the dam. That's probably why she ain't on my list. We're just going to forget about it.
I don't know what you're talking about. There ain't anybody down there.
And the 20 living off her that just went to the Hunger Games. Not funny. They all showed up. And they paid to show up. See, shit's happening in the reverse. I just want y'all to see that shit is happening in the reverse. It was like $57,000, and then how much for the dress? And the Dash-ins wanted a refund. I was adding it up in my mind. It probably cost like $1 million for them all to show up there. Let the strong survive. All right, I'm gonna hang up. Go check out YouTube if you want to hear more of my voice, if that helps you today. So weird what messages they block on here. Anyway, I love y'all. And that's what time it is. That's where we're at. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to channel in your energy to explain this all to all of us. And no Tom Hanks you. I take back thank you. All QAnon and all Q fucking things. Johnny Depp's, The Depps, The Rock, all that shit. I cut off all their energy. All Q, quantum, prophetic bullshit of a bunch of unconscious people making a current that then you projected into. I cut it all. I'm taking back the language today. Like, I'm so done with it. Love y'all.